All right, guys, we're here with another We Make Supplements podcast. My co-host Sean and I have a very special guest today. Right, Sean?
We do. I'm excited about this.
Me too. Who is it?
The infamous legend of photography in the fitness industry, Ludwig Araujo. Welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
We Make Supplements.
Appreciate you guys having me down here, man. I'm so honored. This is crazy.
Tell us the truth. How do you like Pittsburgh?
Oh, man. Seriously, I would never come here again. But the food here is amazing. It's like, I've been a lot of places, as you know, and I don't think I've ever tasted anything so good.
You went to a couple of Encore's key restaurants.
I ate octopus for the first time in my life, and the second he told me I was eating octopus, I was like, get out of here with that nonsense. Like, who does that? Like, octopus? I've seen that. It's nasty looking. And then I ate it. And it was the best. It's the best taco I ever had.
All right, better question. This is your first time touring a manufacturing facility.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Again, so I've been shooting photography in the industry for 8, 9, 10 years, something like that. Dealing with brands and supplement manufacturers and shooting content for them. I've never been in a facility, and so to see the process of ingredients showing up to mixing to the whole process of encapsulating them, it's insane. It's amazing what goes into making supplements. You know.
Cool.
So I took notes, and I'm starting my own.
Nice.
My own manufacturing.
What are we gonna call it?
I make supplements.
We're not gonna call it. What was it? Honey doll supplements.
Honeydew. Oh, okay.
Honeydew supplements.
Honeydew supplements. That's a good idea.
It could
Done.
work.
Done.
You already have access to all the
That's
influencers.
it. Yeah, and I stole some plants from back in there.
All right, well, Sean, I think the only topic that we should be talking about with Ludwig is influencers.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The good, the bad, the ugly. We got some more stories that we should be sharing.
Yeah, you guys both have a lot of experience with influencers. Me, not so much. So I'm kind of just like, I'm about to grab my popcorn, you know what I mean? Ask a few questions and just sit here and listen.
I feel like we should be charging for this episode if we're going to go into these many details.
I'm in.
Who goes first?
I mean, I've got a question.
Okay, what's your
one
question?
is one that I've been wanting to know. Like, so have you ever received a call from an influencer, and based on whether you saw their content or the personality, and just said, "Oh my God, I don't want to work with that person." You don't have to name the person, but I'm saying, have you ever just thought like, "Oh, geez, this is going to be
That's a great question.
task."
That's a great question, and the answer is yes, absolutely. There are people out there that. So understanding what influencers do. You have to get to the point that influencers are there to drive business for brands, and so I'm always looking at people's content, right? So there might be a girl that's on Instagram and she might have 900,000 followers, right? And you're like, wow, that's going to drive a lot of product sales. Well, not until you find out 89% of her followers are males, and all the content that she puts out is booty shots and nothing that's adding value to the consumer. That girl might entice another manager. No, but for me, it's like, you're not adding value. We're not going to get you to the level where Nike or Target are going to want to use you in an ad. That's not worth it. You know, you can keep your 90% male audience that's thirsty.
Man, I feel like when you look at these influencers, if they're not consistent with like positivity, then like I just don't want to work with them. I'm gonna go ahead and name drop Bradley Martin, right? There's opportunities for us to work with Bradley, right? But this guy one week would be hating on brands and like just putting people on blast, and the next week be like, I'm all about positivity.
Yeah.
Everyone, let's join together in this fitness movement. Like I mean, I don't know. There's just scenarios where I just feel like it doesn't make sense to work with certain people because what they're about doesn't align with what my goals are.
So that brings me into another question. How different are a lot of the influencers that you guys have worked with from what you see on their social media platforms to when you actually meet them, whether it is the difference between, you know, they seem always down in the dumps and negative versus their page is always positive, or whatever the case may be. Like, how different are they? Or are there ones that have stuck out to you like, wow, this person is like they're putting out on social media?
It's a great question. I'm gonna let you start with that.
This was going
yeah.
So let's go down the laundry list of names. All right, so I'll pick two of my favorite influencers that are out there.
Okay.
Genevieve Ava. All right, you're familiar with Jen.
Yeah.
Jen is exactly what her pictures are in real life, and she's the sweetest person, and she's just amazing. And I got a really good friend, Josh Hopkins, right? He used to be with us with G6. He's every bit as influential and inspirational in person with his stories and dealing with his PTSD and dealing with all the things that he's gone through in his life and his fitness journey. But then there's people out there that have like darkness in their story, right? Now they're unlike those two, but they're really lonely in real life, right? They're shooting those 6 hours a day to get that content, and the rest of their day they're just miserable. And it's crazy when you find people like that, right? Then there's people that I meet, and in person, they're talking about totally different things, and nothing relates to what they're showing on social media, right? On social media, they just have this persona that's almost like a character. And I don't know. I don't align with that. Like, who I am on social media is who I am in real life. Whether I'm at work, talking to an influencer, on a date, it's the same awkward garg no matter what.
Yeah, and I'm going to piggyback on that. 100%, you have both. I manage a client. Her name is Paige Hathaway. She's, one of the things I hear clients say and fans say that when they're waiting hours in line to meet her, is that she's exactly the same as she is, and she is and that's a power of her brand, and you can tell that when, hopefully you'll get the chance to meet her. But there are other people. Most, I would say, if we're to, do a pie chart and say who's really authentic and who's really that person, I would say 15 to 20% of the influencers you see are that person. I would say about 85% aren't.
Forget a pie chart. I want to see a Venn diagram. I want to put the crazies over here, right? And then the normal people, the people who care about money, and then we'll put the thirst people right in between.
Yes.
So that brings me to another question. I might have all the questions here because you guys are kind of the experts in this, and I don't know how many questions I could really answer for you guys. But so when the influencers that you're working with or have worked in the past, are they really passionate about delivering an ROI for the brands that they're working with? Or do you see a lot of hey, let's get that money, and whatever happens with the product sales or the product awareness and stuff like that is kind of not my problem? How passionate do they get about wanting to really deliver for brands?
The good ones are extremely passionate and professional, and so you get to this place where influencers are almost, they run the spectrum just like an actor would. You hear the stories about the rogue actor, the guy who shows up to set late and doesn't care, but he's like a, Tony Stark, right? He's
an A-lister.
He's an A-lister, but they pay him the money, but he just doesn't care, just shows up, mails it in. And then you get the super passionate actor, the guy that's really putting time and effort in. And same thing with influencers. And again, that segment is a small portion of the overall influencer. I know influencers that are they don't care. When you see them at an expo, and here's how you know, watch the influencers that have a line of people waiting for them, and watch how they interact with their audience. Guy's just standing there, someone shows up, takes a picture, he's looking at his phone, he's got his girlfriend with him, Next person comes up, hey, how you doing? Okay, take a picture. And then you see someone like a Paige, I hate to bring her up, but and she's meeting everybody in line, she's walking to you online. She's engaging, asking questions, really giving that fan that experience. And she's doing it to the last person in line. We're in Germany. People don't even speak English. All they say is selfie. And she's trying to have a conversation with them to make them feel important. And so that's
real quick, two things. One, Tony Stark is a saint. Okay, we're not going to say he's the guy that shows up and doesn't care. All the Marvel fans at home, don't get mad at us.
I meant Robert Downey Jr., but Tony Stark is a saint.
Robert Downey Jr. is also the man, so we're not going to go ahead and tell
I meant Robert Downey circa 1989.
Okay, that second, Paige, just speaking about her, right?
Yeah.
I remember being there when she had to lose long lines with us, right?
Yeah.
And I was always shocked that the guys that would come repeatedly year after year at different shows, she would have a continued conversation with them, remembering what it was that they talked about the last time that she saw them in live.
Yeah, that's engaging.
That's her superpower.
I couldn't believe it.
For sure, that's her superpower, and she'll meet you and make you feel like you're the most important person in the room. So to answer your question about ROI, when we're dealing with brands and we're dealing with deliverables, right? She's like, I want to make sure I give this the best opportunity to be successful because I want to continue to work with this brand. Where I would say 90 to 85% of the rest of the influencers are just I want that check. Let me just give you a half-assed deliverable post or whatnot and mail it in. It's pretty sick. It's pretty sick.
How does that relate for someone like you that's either managing or shooting that? How do you feel about that when you're working with somebody that, I mean, I'm sure you're working with someone who's passionate about it. Does it bring out your creativity in the content that
Absolutely.
you do versus like knowing that somebody's there just kind of going through the motions and they're not allowing you to be? Does that inhibit your creativity?
It does. I mean, obviously, if someone like Paige is going to want to deliver the best result, you have to do your homework. You got to say, hey, listen, we want to deliver something different for this brand. When we talk to, there's other influencers that I might not even get involved in the decision-making process on delivery because they don't care. And then what it does is it leaves a bad taste in the mouth on the brand's part, right? And so now the brand may not look to use influencers in the future because they didn't get the ROI on this guy or that girl.
Yeah.
The problem is you don't get a Carfax on the influencer, right? You don't know whether the person's a diva until you start working with them. I mean, if there was only a Carfax, actually there is. Call me on I'll tell you all the deeds about that person. Or call Ludwig.
Yeah.
Ludwig will tell you whether they show up on time for the photo shoot, whether they show up in shape. That's a big part. I remember we would have athletes show up to an expo not even in shape.
Yeah.
And then you'd have guys like Colin Wayne and Alex Michael Turner that show up more ripped than I've ever seen a man like ever in their lives. And like you appreciate it as a brand, right? People actually care about showing up when you ask them to show up.
Yeah. I can't say it better than that. You have people that show up to expos and you're who you are in the fitness industry because not only because you're what you're saying on social, but because of your physique. People come to see that your amazing abs or your amazing arms, and you're wearing an oversized sweater, or you're not showing the abs, and people are gonna take that one photo with you that they're gonna remember forever, and you're all covered up, So that's not like next time you go to an expo, just pay attention.
Yeah, I'm going to now. Now that I know
you'll
what to
see the
look for,
difference.
yeah.
All right, Sean, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
All right, so when companies
you
and
guys,
brands...
You guys need me to leave?
No, man. So when companies and brands work with influencers, I know there's brands out there that will hire an influencer for a month and then fire them.
Yeah.
Right, and then they try to take what they can out of that influencer, then let them go, and then the business model of influencers kind of gets ruined at that point, right? Influencers stop trusting brands, right? I mean, I could drop some names as the brands that do this, but I mean, what do you think is the right way to manage an influencer relationship? And let's just say as a brand, right, it's okay, you're not putting an effort into making this work. What do? Do you hire an influencer manager to help manage that relationship? Do you just let them go?
Yeah, I mean, we've always had influencers that we've never, because we do a lot of manufacturing and our brand side of our business is not as big as our manufacturing side. We've never worked with the, I'll call A-list influencers, right? So we've had a lot of micro influencers and stuff like that. And so a lot of those people, there is more of a relationship there, right? Because they're trying to get their name out. Yeah. They're wanting to be associated with a brand that, is considered a national brand. At the same time, we're not paying the huge expense as we would be for, say, an A-lister. So to me, I think my experience has always been we've had more relationship, and we're constantly trying to make it work for each other, right? We're trying to help them. We're, putting their profiles and stuff on our pages, and we want them to grow their following, and they're kind of, so we're like helping each other out along that process versus things that I think you guys are more familiar with, which is somebody who's bringing a lot of potential ROI for a brand. So my experience has always been relationship driven, and we've tried to make it work, and it usually lasts for a pretty long time, as opposed to just saying, hey, this isn't working out, we're not going to do this any longer.
Now I have a question. How do you think that would you ever invest in an A-list influencer?
That's
whether
a great
it's for
question.
One of your brands, one of your in-house brands, or for.
Yeah, that's a great question.
My eyes are so wide right now.
I know. I was gonna say, please defer to Encore. Yeah, no, that's a good question. I don't understand as much as Encore. I know that for sure. I definitely watched how when the algorithms on social media changed,
right,
and not only saw firsthand on a smaller scale, but also been involved in a lot of conversation with other brands and stuff like that did see the ROI drop off pretty quickly, right? And so I've been curious to kind of ask you guys with the A-listers. I mean, you got somebody who has 3, 4, 5 million reach, and they're putting out content associated with the brand. Like, what's the true reach of that without the brand having to pay for more of that reach, and how do you get that ROI with the algorithms changing?
Right. And that's a great question. That's actually why I asked you, is because there's a big debate now, macro versus micro influencers. And to me, I think the strategy has to be based on the budget from the brand, right? I can understand a brand not having the amount of money to be able to pay an A-lister, and just go out and pay the micro influencers to spread the word. However, having an A-lister, regardless of the fact that the reach has diminished over the years because of the algorithm, A-listers, what they do is, a good one is going to give you brand equity, right? They're gonna be able to put the brand on the map at a larger scale. Someone who has 4.5 million followers, 5 million followers, and it's a global audience. Depending on your brand strategy, it's definitely beneficial to go with them because you can hit more people quickly. And borrowing her brand equity or his brand equity, it's going to help your brand get established. So it really depends on the journey that your brand is on. A brand new starting out of the gate, probably not going to be able to afford a A-lister.
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, right? So that's where I would lean. I would want to trust the influencer I'm doing business with. We had the conversation about ones that want to return, give an ROI to the brands they work with, ones that are passionate, willing to put in the time, want to feel like they're part of the brand. And I would want to lean on somebody that has a relationship with the person that kind of assures me, hey, this is what you're getting into, versus just kind of cold calling influencers that have a large audience and not knowing what you're getting into.
Right.
And I would almost compare this to movies, right? If you're an indie filmmaker and you want to get an A-list celebrity, I mean, you have to have someone that really believes in your script and really believes in you as a talent, as a director or as a producer to make that indie.
That's a good point.
But you're not going to be able to utilize that person as well as a major studio can, because a major studio is going to do the press tour where they're interviewing with every talk show, where they're on every radio station promoting the movie, and like some brands just don't realize that they're an indie and they're trying to act like a studio.
Yes.
And some people are studios acting like they're indies.
And some influencers are indie or C-list. I think they're A-list.
Some influencers are Q-list, like forget C. That's real high up there.
Right.
And so I think the reality is that people need to understand who they are, and like the influencer can't be the one thing that you put into the equation that changes everything. Right? You have to build a whole business around an influencer for it to work.
You got to have the budget to support it.
You got to have the budget to support it. It's got to be part of the overall strategy. So, what I like to do is talk to brands about whether or not they're spending in magazines and stuff. We obviously see the decline in magazine ad spend, right? So take some money away from magazines, put it into influencer. You're going to get a big ROI. Put it into Facebook ads and points per click and all that stuff.
There's still brands spending money on magazines?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Yes, and I can't believe it, but they are. They're going all in on magazines.
So, I'm not going to name the magazine because I'm still good friends with the sales agents that are over there, but major fitness magazine that might be involved with the Olympia asked us to buy pages in their magazine, and us being a new brand, we're like, yeah, we totally want to do this. First month we did it, nothing happened, nothing grew. I'm like, you know what? I'm Encore Garg. I'm going to be a little crazy. We're going to put an ad that says, get your free bottle. All you have to do is go to this website and tell us where to ship it. And my designs are dope. I know how to do call to actions, the offers, everything. Guess how many bottles we shipped?
How many?
Throw out a number.
1,000.
Big fat 0.
Not one person wanted a free bottle.
Not one person visited the website.
Wow.
Let alone
what year was this?
2013.
Wow.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
It makes sense.
So now, just for perspective, if you ran a digital ad, let's just say with $1,000 budget or a $5,000 budget on Facebook, offering a free bottle or a free fat burn or whatever it is, how different would that be today?
I mean, it depends if we're charging for shipping or not. If there's no shipping and the person just has to fill out the form and then get through that whole process without putting credit card information, 500, 1,000 bottles, easy.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. If you, after they fill out the whole form and now they're on a credit card form, you're going to have a huge drop off. Probably, I'd say 80-90% of people are not going to put in their shipping information. Just is what it is. But before we cut off, because we have Ludwig, I got to ask Ludwig what he thinks about influencers or launching their own brands.
What are we cutting off for?
Well, we try to keep these under 20 minutes.
No, we're going 40 then.
There's a bunch of millennials.
That's what Mike told me, right? You said
an hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
No,
Mike's in charge.
So go ahead.
What do you think about, I knew you were going to do that with Mike today. What do you think about influencers launching their own supplement lines? Is this a smart idea? Is this not a smart idea? What do you think?
I used to think it was the coolest thing, because your line of thinking is, man, Kai Green is the biggest name in bodybuilding. He should have his own brand. But what you find is the people that have been buying supplements, most of them are brand loyal. So you take all these big names, like let's say like an Optimal Nutrition. No one's gonna stop buying that to buy Kai Green's product. It's tried and true, or C4, that product. So I think it's a great idea for someone like a big name in the industry to start their own product, but I would not let the world know that I am the face or it's my brand. I wouldn't call it Kai Green Supplements and have my face all over it. I partner up with another brand
Partnerships. Yeah.
and do it, because I think
we
people need
saw
to trust
that
her.
with Jennifer Lopez, right? I think she tries to launch. I mean, she's an A-list megastar. And
Yeah,
she
and
launched a supplement line. And
Mark Wahlberg,
Yeah,
J-Lo.
yeah.
And the other thing too is launching a supplement brand is such hard work, because you don't. It's not just one time that you like put it out to the world. You got to get distribution, right? You got to get, even if you're selling online, you still want to get presence. So you're traveling to India doing your press circuits out there, and going to Asia trying to break into that market, going to South America. That's all of your time. If you're trying to do other things, it's just not practical. So I'm against it in the sense of putting your name all over it. This is my brand. I own it. My name is Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean,
Partnering with a manufacturer or somebody else launching it, and kind of being an influencer with it, and having some maybe ownership stake or something like that is fine. Just not putting your name on it.
Okay, let's switch the vibe real quick. Let's go to a positive message.
Okay.
If you are an influencer with over 3 million followers, how could you successfully launch a line?
Like we just said, I think you would partner up with an existing manufacturer.
Okay, STC Nutrition, not a manufacturer.
Yeah, no, you would partner up with STC
plug,
Nutrition,
nice
and you would call it something cool, and get other influencers on board right away, and go for it, and let the brand live on its own with you as an influencer, as opposed to calling it Encore Supplements and hoping
overnight success.
overnight success.
All right, so if you're an influencer out there with more than 3 million followers, what you need to do is get some real strong business advice, in my opinion.
100%.
I feel like most of these influencers don't understand, or some of them do, but most of them don't understand sales funnels. They don't understand essentially the different verticals that happen with supplement sales. Right? There's the direct-to-consumer, there's the e-marketplaces like Amazon, Rakuten, Jet, so on and so forth. Then there's the brick and mortar, right, with the specialty shops, the Nutri shops, the vitamin shops, GNC, so on and so forth. And then, of course, there's big box retail. And each one of those has to have a different marketing effort. And you either have to get like a brand manager to kind of support you, because the influencer has to run their full-time business of being an influencer and do their second project at the same time.
Right.
And I feel like most influencers that try to launch their own brand choose a really, really, really terrible brand manager. Some guy pitched them a dream, and this is why I think they're failing, because I think that guy doesn't understand the 4 channels.
Absolutely.
Right? I think that's the problem, right? Someone just sees a big name and they're like, hey, let's launch this company. I'm going to help you do clothing line, supplements, this, that, and the other. And I think influencers are getting duped.
100%. 100%. They're getting sold on the dream, and they don't understand how to partner up with the right people. Like you said, understanding what strategies work and what verticals, and they're getting fooled. It's similar to like, and listen, a big name athlete doesn't translate into a big name supplement company. So it's just like, Michael Jordan's not a great basketball coach or owner. He's a horrible owner.
Man. LeBron just launched his own supplement line. And
No.
Ladder's doing great.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, well, he's LeBron. He's going to sell bottles, but
LeBron, come on the show. Tell us how you're doing. Kamara Roar, help make that happen.
And I think Kevin Hart launched a multivitamin.
Kevin has his own line too.
Yeah. I think they can all make some noise and make some quick cash. But when you're comparing that brand to, let's say, Omega, if Kevin Hart launched omega-3 product, and is it gonna compare to the sales that Omega's been doing for years and years and years, and the brand that they have? I doubt it.
Well, I mean, Kevin's launching more of a lifestyle.
I'm just saying, just to compare apples to apples. But yeah, we'll see.
There's definitely going to be success stories.
You know what I think?
He's got a huge following. He's going to sell products, but is it going to?
I think Will Smith needs to launch a supplement line. He just gets it.
He's
social
smart.
media, business, whatever it is. I mean, his thing with Just Water, it's killing the game.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant in his social strategy, his content. He's funny, he's witty, he's relevant. Everything that Sean is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think this was a great episode, Ludwig. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, this
It's
is
been an
good.
honor.
This is fun to talk with both of you guys.
Yeah, it's been fun to be here, man. Next time you guys want to come out, bring me out. I'm here.
Cool.
Just pay for everything.
Perfect.
Okay.
I got one more question though.
what's
Before we
up?
get
let's-
off. I got one more question.
Yeah.
How have you seen? And I just been wanting to ask this, but it wasn't really on topic with where the discussion was going.
Cool.
But as you see things go from still pictures to video on social platforms,
Yeah.
Instagram and stuff like that, how does that affect you personally in the work that you do? Have you started to transition that, or do you not see still pictures going away completely, and so you're kind of staying there? I'm just trying to understand.
That's a great question. I think stills are always going to be necessary to drive message instantly. I think our attention span as a culture is still pretty small. Video consumption is high. It's on the rise. It's going to continue to rise. I'm never going to pick up. I'll never say never, but I'm never going to pick up the camera and become a videographer. I don't care about that. I'll find somebody else to do that. But the other thing too is that with your cell phone now, like I think you can create quality content with just selfies and video and throwing this. And so I don't think my job is in jeopardy. People still want still images. You're always going to sell products with a poster in the supplement store, and so I'm still there. I'm still relevant in that sense. But it's never going to move me to the point where I have to pick up a video camera. Like to me, if I'm going to create content for a brand and they don't need a video guy, I'll bring in a video guy.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
cool.
I'm not gonna be that guy.
And forget everything you just said. We need to get a hologram of some guy talking, like a Joey Swole in a GNC store, telling someone to buy, Rise supplements.
I mean, that might
That
be
would work.
the 80
Every time.
years from now future is just holograms. Yeah.
Next year.
No.
Next year.
Then I'm out of business. Yeah.
Holograms.
But
Alright.
yeah.
So I think that was our episode for today. Thanks so much for coming down, Ludwig.
Thank you for having me. I
thanks for
appreciate
coming
it.
in.
You guys are awesome.